everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna. I'm a music teacher. I teach classical music, but I also teach rock and metal. And I noticed there's a shortage of really thorough metal singing, power and heavy metal singing teachers. And I've been singing power, heavy, gothic, and kind of like operatic metal for the last, let me calculate how old I am, last 17 years. It's quite an experience. So I've been in various bands. I started with my first band when I was 16, and then I decided to go to the music school to practice my skills, and I studied classical singing now for over 10 years. And alongside classical singing, I've also went to various teachers that kind of taught me some kind of rock technique, and then I ended up combining these things into the technique that I'm using nowadays, and then I am teaching that same technique to my fellow future rock and metal stars. I wanted to talk about breathing on our first lesson, but also kind of have some kind of introduction, talk about the stuff that I do, the styles that I'm using to sing, and it's very interesting and it's really cool. I've been singing from like classical kind of rock style in the beginning, and I passed into like kind of power metal, and I sang like in the style of Nightwish, Epica, and also use growls and screams, and I basically sing whatever I think is necessary to actually for the song to sound good. So I've been singing in different styles, and in the end I realized that I just sing any style that I think it's necessary to actually say the things that the music wants to say. So it's really good to have different kinds of aspects of singing and combine them as good as you can. I think Flora Jansen she talked about this a lot, that she uses different styles to fit whatever the music needs, and I absolutely agree. I mean, who wouldn't agree with her? Basically, so I wanted to cover like the breathing technique now for different styles of metal singing, and honestly, I think breathing style is the same for every type of power, heavy or opera metal singing. It's the things that change here that actually make the quality of the sound a bit different, but I am using the same kind of breathing for every single style of metal singing, and I wanted to teach you that for today and kind of have that as a first lesson of the many lessons that I'm kind of hoping to give you guys. So basically, the problem that a lot of singers have is that they use the upper part of the lungs to sing, which shouldn't be used at all. This part of the body should be relaxed, so the voice kind of can flow naturally through it, but we shouldn't be breathing in here. So basically, when you breathe in here, I don't even know how to do it. Wait a second. Okay, and I try to sing something. So if I breathe here and I try to sing something, it doesn't work. And then basically what you want to do as a singer is to breathe here. So if I do that, so I can actually sing with a full voice, with a full support. That is the thing that we call singing with the support and with the support of the diaphragm. The diaphragm is actually resting on the bottom of your lungs, and it's helping you with the breathing. So basically, when you're taking the breath, the diaphragm kind of flows down, and then when you're exhaling, it goes up. So down and up. With singing, what you want to do is to keep that diaphragm supporting you and keep it as low as you can. Well, the diaphragm is like a living organism, so it bounces up and down depending on the singing. So if I sing this melody, depending depending the way I sing it also. So if I sing it, the diaphragm doesn't move a lot, but I'm gonna have a problem if I'm gonna go up. Yeah, and if I use the diaphragm to have it as a kind of living organism, as I call it. So the diaphragm is kind of jumping up and down, or if I'm going to sing this in different kind of styles, so if I'm going to sing it very like 10 and more like in a popish way, I'm not going to need a lot of support. The support still has to be there, but it's more like balanced with this area being more open. And if I want to have like a more like a power style, now like the diaphragm also, the support you require is going to depend on the type of the music, rock, metal, whatever, or pop, or anything else you want to sing. So basically, like if you go and try to sing musicals and everything, they're going to talk more about belting, and that's going to be like, it's going to be more like airy and more like soft. But then if you want to sing power metal, if you want to sing heavy metal, you're going to require a bit more of this melody. This is a great one for power singing. It is about the support, but it's also about the position here, openness, playing around with the sound. The thing I want to talk about today is the support. So basically, if you're going to sing metal, I am going to require you to do and take a bit more support in the diaphragm, because that's not going to work a different way. So what you want, in order to kind of start understanding that support, you're going to have to isolate the upper part of the lungs entirely. So if you take a mirror, you're going to see nothing here is moving, absolutely nothing. If you notice, this part of the body moves as well. So it's not only that I'm taking the air in here and popping my belly out. I'm not even trying to pop the belly out. That happens naturally. So I don't like do this. No, I take the breath and the breath opens it up. So the stand with the feet, try to pop in a bit in the back. So what you want to do is also have a bit of like, kind of like, you don't want to lock in your feet, then you want to have that grounding and support. So when you have that grounding and support, it feels more naturally to take the breath in lower. Now if you're gonna belt it, the breath is gonna go here. And it does offer you some kind of, but this here, gives you more power. And if you're singing power metal or heavy metal, you want to have more power. Sorry, I know I sound like an opera singer at the moment, but we're gonna get there. I'm gonna show you different styles that you can do here and kind of change that. But I'm using opera now in order kind of to show you the differences in the power of the voice. And basically there is a couple of exercises that you can use in order to practice breath. And this is like a muscle. Like my singing teacher always said, that singers are like athletes. So you can't just practice your breath or singing once a week and hope that you're gonna have a big voice, because you're not gonna have a big voice then. You're gonna have to do it a couple of times a day, every single day. And that's what most of my students fail to do because they think it's boring. And I agree, it's boring. But if you have a goal in your life, as I had when I was 18 and I started doing singing lessons, I exercised this thing 3 or 4 times a day. for like half an hour, and I could see the results in a couple of weeks. So basically what you do is, if you have a mirror, you stand in front of the mirror, and without taking any air here, practice getting the air into the lower part, into your belly, but also everywhere here. So not inflating your belly on purpose, but taking the air here. And then you're gonna put the tongue between your teeth, like this, and you're gonna release the air really slowly. So the tongue is actually resting behind the teeth in the side, and it's stopping the flow of the air. And that builds the capacity of the diaphragm, because it doesn't allow the air to just go out of your body, but as you're slowly releasing it, it pushes the diaphragm further down, and then practicing that muscle that actually helps you hold the support that you need to sit. So if you do this a couple of times a day, ideally, but if not ideally that, once a day, every day in a week, you will notice how the support is growing stronger. That is what you want, basically. You want a really good kind of support. You can also practice this. I don't know if you can see my belly like popping in and out. So basically that is like I'm kind of hissing the air out real fast. You could see that in Kalabati breathing exercise in yoga, but in that case it's done by pushing the abdomen in as well, and this way I am not pushing the abdomen, I am just getting the air out. In order to kind of isolate the lungs, I also sometimes like hold my fists like this. So it's impossible to breathe into the upper part of the lungs. It teaches me kind of how to force the air down. And then the key factor for everything is to get that air to get out really slowly. So that's what we need to really work on. And once we get that support, we can pass on to connecting it with the right position. So we take the breath in. And we start humming into this area. But that will be a story for the next time. Now guys, tell me what you think. I know it's really hard to get a feeling for this, so you're gonna have to practice a lot and improvise. For me it's easy now because like I've been singing over like 15 years, 17, I don't even know how long. So like my diaphragm is working pretty good, my lung capacity is bigger, and it's when I take that breath in, like my tummy and everything here expands a lot, and you're not gonna see that in your body when you're only just starting. So don't worry about that. You don't have to like force your belly out. It's the most important thing is just to learn how to breathe into the lower part of the lungs and get that diaphragm to work. And you will feel the diaphragm working once you do that hissing thing and you start feeling out of breath and tired. But don't overdo it. Like be patient with yourself. Like that's basically like holding a breath. So you wouldn't want to hold the breath for too long without stopping and taking a couple of normal breaths in between. But in time you will start feeling that pressure, and that pressure is the thing that can help you with singing. I also have a plan. I'm very excited about it. I have a new mic. Finally I bought a new mic, and I want to go through some of the metal songs and talk about techniques and how to sing them. And I think that's going to be really cool. So we can kind of do it together. We can talk about breathing, support, position and projection, pronunciation, and we can kind of sing together. And I think that's going to be amazing. Now guys, thank you so much for watching this video. if you want to maybe sing with me one-to-one, I do online vocal lessons. I have a couple of slots available, I don't have too many. But I would really love to work with metal singers. It's one of my passions, and I would like to kind of give you that support in that. I'm gonna have a couple of lessons about screams, growls and everything, but it's not gonna happen anytime soon. So it is on the schedule, but it's not gonna be here or there, because there's a lot of kind of tutorials for that. So I'm going to talk about power and heavy singing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, give me a shout, leave me a comment, give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
Oh, here you are, face to